In 1995, Tim Lehigh and Jerry Tinkins published a book entitled Left Behind, never dreaming that eventually Barnes and Noble would call it one of the top 10 best-selling books in the 20th century. You will notice that the book is called a novel of the Earth's last days. A novel is a long printed story about imaginary characters and events. So this is not a true story. And we will discover today or tonight that the theology it is based on is not true or it's untrue. Now, because of the book's enormous success, the authors decided to expand their project into a sequence of 12 books. And each book, as it has been released, has become the bestseller. And the novels have been labeled the most successful Christian fiction series ever by publishers of weekly magazine. Now, remember, it's called fiction. Remember, it is imaginary, the imaginary events and people. You see, fiction is not truth. There have been a number of movies produced based on the Left Behind series or the Left Behind novel stories. And they too have been very successful. The Left Behind story or series begins with the disappearing of the righteous and the rapture. They call it the secret rapture. While the wicked are left behind. One internet site advising the Left Behind books states that in one chaotic moment, millions of people around the world suddenly disappeared, leaving their clothes, wedding rings, eyeglasses, and shoes in crumpled piles. Mass confusion hits while vehicles, suddenly unmanned, veer out of control, fire erupts, and hysteria breaks out as the living stare in disbelief and fear at the empty places where the loved ones were just seconds before. It says this is the rapture that God has planned as the first sign to begin the unraveling of the end time. That's how they advertise them. Now, the word rapture is not found in the Bible, but the concept is found in the Bible. Rapture means the catching away or the catching up of the saints to heaven. Now, according to the novel, or according to those movies, when the rapture takes place, headlines will read like this: millions mysteriously vanish. All children have disappeared. That is the news. Massive traffic snarls due to missing drivers. Planes crash, trains wreck as pilots and engineers disappear. They say that's what the news will be broadcasting. But now, here is the big question. Is this a fictitious story based on Bible truth? We will find today in our study. The magazine back in Feb 2005 said this about the Left Behind novel series. The book, that is Left Behind, and its 11 sequels have set the image that many people, believers and non-believers alike, now have about how the world will end. I hope you have ever watched these movies, whereby you see people, they call them the Left Behind series, and people just vanish. The car just, you look for the driver and the driver has gone, and they call it rapture. It says, this magazine said, in terms of its impact on Christianity, says Jerry Falwell, it is probably greater than that of any other book in modern times outside the Bible. But the question, amidst all the hype, amidst all the excitement of the novel, has truth also been left behind in the Left Behind series? Maybe truth has been left behind also. We know that the devil is the master deceiver. Could it be that the Left Behind novels series has been used by the devil to deceive people concerning how Jesus will come? Has truth been left behind in the Left Behind series? Does the devil has a deception regarding the return of Christ? Is the Left Behind series or novel series part of his deception? Jesus himself warned us to beware of deceptions concerning his return. Let's read the warning in Matthew chapter 24, verse 23 up to 27. The Bible says, "Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not." We shouldn't believe it. "For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive" who? The very elect. "Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers." What's the word? Secret chambers. "Believe it not." Why not? "For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." So, here in Matthew 24, Jesus outlines 3 areas of deception. Number 1, deception about the personage or the person of Jesus. He says, false Christs will arise. The number 2, deception about the place, that they will tell you here or there. The number 3, deception about the manner. They will say it is a secret event. Now let's look at these 3 deceptions in more details. We will take the first 2 deceptions together. The person and the place. Do you suppose that before Jesus Christ comes back literally in the clouds of heaven, the devil would come claiming to be Jesus returning to this earth? Do you think that he would try to trick some of the Christians? The answer is yes, friends. The Bible, in fact, predicts that. Let's read that in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse number 14. 2 Corinthians 11, verse number 14. It says, "And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. He appears not as an ugly monster, but he can appear as the angel of light." Now suppose, friends, that you put on your TV and then the announcer is very excited and he tells you Christ has come back. He is in Kampala, or maybe he is in Jerusalem, or he is in Rome. There on the TV you see a very dazzling being, looking so beautiful, maybe looking like the pictures that you have ever seen of Jesus. What will you do? And you see he's looking like the paintings that you have ever seen of Jesus. And you see multitudes of people flooding to him. And you see him healing the sick, casting out devils, or maybe even appearing to raise the dead. You hear him speak the same word, the gracious words that Jesus used to speak. What would you do? You say, well, I guess I would go there and see him. Would you, friends? Would you go there? You might if you don't know how the real Christ will come. If you don't know how to differentiate the real Christ and the impostor, you will run there to see